Hello, 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 and happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to each and every one of you. Do me a favor, jump in as quick as possible. And if this is your first time watching me tonight, please say hello so that everybody else can welcome you. And welcome to the family. Um, Welcome to the family. We certainly are excited that you jumped on, and I'm hoping that there's something that is said tonight that will change your life forever. I'm hoping that something that is said tonight will change your perspective and ultimately your trajectory. Um, Thank you again for jumping in. Please hit the share button if you will. Share it with a few people. Share it with your friends, your loved ones, and your family members. And thank you guys so much for your time that you are spending with me tonight. Tonight, I want to talk about the little things. I want to talk about the little things. Um, we are in a time where um, everyone posts their big accomplishments on social media. And it can be rather daunting when you look back at your life and you see that the accomplishments that you have aren't mounting up to what everyone else is posting. Well, there are two different reasons for this. One, people post finished products. That's one. And along with people posting finished products, there's a lot of times that people also only post a portion of their life. I shared a story a couple of weeks ago about a young lady who was sharing herself wearing red bottoms and going all over the country. And when someone reached out to her in order to get her to come to a conference, she told them that she could not because she was homeless, which did not go with the image that she was portraying on social media. And if one was to follow her image of what she posted, then they would consider this person to be well off. They would consider this person to be successful by the idea of what we have considered success to be in this society. But she wasn't, right? There are multiple reasons why we can look at times in other people's lives and we can become frustrated. We can become despondent or angry because we look at where we are and we're not always where we want to be. We're not always in the position or in the place where we want to be. It's almost as though we have difficulty seeing our light at the end of the tunnel because we're seeing everybody else's finished products. And when you're focusing on what everybody else is and everybody else's path, it can be very challenging when you look back at your life and you realize that you're not quite where you want to be. I want to talk about that tonight. I want to talk about the little things that you do. I want to talk about the little things that you have done that perhaps you haven't given yourself credit for. I want to talk about the little ways that you have overcome, the little ways that you have grown by looking back at your life and the little habits that you have began that maybe you don't recognize and maybe you don't celebrate today. There is a scripture that I often think about. It's in Zechariah chapter number 4, verse number 10. And it says, "Who dares despise the day of small beginnings? Since the seven eyes of the Lord that range through the earth will rejoice when they see the chosen capstone in the hand of Zerubbabel," or the plumb line in the hand of Zerubbabel. Now, this story, just hearing that particular scripture may not mean too much, but Zerubbabel had a task of building up the walls, and it was a massive, huge task that he had to do. And looking at the rubbles of what was existing and knowing what must go in place as commanded by God, I'm sure that it seemed like a daunting task. I'm sure many of you are there right now where maybe the task is to be financially savvy. And maybe you look at your account and it's maybe in the negative, or maybe it's got a very small amount of money in it. Um, Maybe your task is to go after your doctorate's degree. and you've just started with your associates or your bachelor's, and you're thinking about the long haul ahead of you, and you're maybe wondering, how is this going to be possible? Maybe the task is to be married. And up to this point, it's seeming like you're just running into a bunch of bozos, right? And nothing is seeming to pan out. Just failed relationship after failed relationship. Maybe your task that you're going after is to improve your health and to be healthy. Maybe you want to be a certain size, or maybe you want your muscles to look a certain way, or your physique to be a certain way. And right now, you probably look very much the opposite, or you're struggling with trying to obtain better results. Maybe it's getting a job or a house or a car or the perfect child, or the perfect relationship with your parents. And every single time you turn around, there are things that challenge the very goal that you are going after. Maybe you're in that place today where Zerubbabel was, where God had given him this great, huge, enormous job. And then God says that the plumb line, the little small plumb line in his hand, should be celebrated. It is the initiation of the process. It's not the entirety of the wall, but the plumb line is what is used in order to balance and to make straight the wall. Zerubbabel had a goal in mind. God had given him a goal. And all he had at this point was a plumb line. And God told him to rejoice with the plumb line that he had in his hand, as opposed to looking at the plumb line and then looking at somebody else's wall and saying, but their wall is complete. Friends, it's so small actions that you take in each and every day that actually begin to build the habits over time. It begins to build the process of what God has initially told you would have, or that would happen, or the goal that you are reaching towards. It is the small acts. I was talking to someone the other day, and I was talking about our intentions, right? If my goal is to clean or to keep my house clean, if that's my goal, then it is the small actions that I take that most people don't give credence to. Such as when I get a roll of toilet paper out of the little plastic, that as opposed to just sitting it on the floor or sitting it on the table or sitting it on the sink right beside the toilet, that I actually put it on the actual roller, the thing that rolls it, the thing that holds it. That one small act seems very insignificant. But over time, if I have a lot of small actions that are just like that I just leave it sitting there, eventually the goal will come to naught. But imagine, to the contrary, if I was to start making a habit of just picking things up after myself, picking things up off of the floor when they are left on the floor, just wiping something every day, or making my bed every single day, or building a habit to put my keys in the same place every day. Those small little actions actually work towards the greater goal. There are so many times in life that we do not give credence to those small actions, where we pass those small actions off as though they're completely irrelevant. But it is the small actions that build the bigger picture. Friends, it is the goal of, the action of getting up every day and maybe writing out what you want to do. Maybe writing out what you're working towards. It is the action of every single day, maybe just beginning to put a little call out towards what you're looking at. Or maybe if it's working out, then maybe getting up every day and maybe taking a walk around. Maybe parking your car a little bit further. The small actions. Maybe you can't do it all today. Maybe it's financial, and you're saying, I need to have a major breakthrough to happen. Friends, I'm telling you that you don't need to have a major breakthrough to happen in order for you to obtain the financial goal that you desire. Many times, God just waits for us to put the small plumb line in our hands so that He can do the rest. Many times, all God is waiting for is for you to take the steps and to be faithful over the few things and let Him take care of the rest. Many times, all God is waiting on is you. Many times, all God is waiting on is you and your ability to be faithful to where you are planted right now. Not being frustrated because things don't look the way that they are, but being grateful and asking Him to give you the strength to do the small things in the places where your feet are planted. Maybe you're not living in the house that you want. Maybe there's something about the house that you live in that you just makes you angry. But being faithful to cleaning that place and picking up after yourself and trying to make sure that if something is on the floor that you pick it back up, and those small actions. Maybe it's getting your finances written down on a piece of paper. Maybe some of you have been avoiding actually writing down what you have to pay every month because you know that you don't have enough. But being faithful says, I'm going to write down what I owe and to whom I owe it to, so that I can ask God to bless the rest. Friends, maybe it is the relationship that you're going after, and maybe right now you're just saying to yourself, I've been in one bad relationship after another. And God's saying, maybe the task is for you to work on you, for you to start to celebrate the small things that you are doing and the changes that you have seen in yourself. And maybe it's to focus on you rather than focusing on everyone else. Maybe that's the small plumb line in your hand. I don't know what your goal is today. I don't know what you're going after today. But don't despise the day of small beginnings. Because if you would be faithful to your part, then God will come through and He'll do the rest. Maybe you're saying to me right now, I have been trying. I have been really going after it. And it seems like it's taking a long time. I've been there too. And to you, I want to say, keep going. Because if you actually look back, you've come farther than where you were last year this time. You've grown some. You've developed some. Maybe your situation hasn't changed, but you have learned some lessons. There's something that has indeed happened in the process of this small thing. Friend, begin the small things today. I want you to commit to me that you will start the small things, that you will start the small actions and celebrate the small actions that you have taken. If you can do this, then God will show you that He will do the rest. Let go and let God. I know that for many of you, you may say to me, you don't know how bad my situation is. Hear me clearly. I don't dare compare my circumstances of past to yours, but I can tell you I've been in circumstances myself that were unbearable to me. And somehow or another, I asked God to give me the strength to do the small things. And it is because He gave me the strength to do and to recognize the small things that I begin to grow. You know, I think to myself now, as many people watch me across the world and especially in this nation, on different social media platforms. I've been doing videos and teaching for over 16 years, and it has its ups and downs. It seems like the pandemic came in and caused me to be recognized even the more. And then that would take a plummet, and I would go down again. And I didn't realize, God, well, why do you keep having me do this? God said, be faithful over what you're doing. And then people started going back, watching videos that I've done years ago, watching all of those old things. And guess what happened? They began to grow. The little things that I did are now being seen. Friends, that's what I want to share with you. That nothing that you've done will be wasted. That God will certainly increase and multiply you. Nothing that you've done will be wasted, but God's going to give you back double for your trouble. Stick to the small places, the small things. Stay focused on building those habits, and then watch God do the rest. I want to thank you for spending a few moments with me, and I hope that I have said something that will challenge you and change you forever. Maybe you need prayer because you feel weak or maybe even lonely. And I'm going to invite you to pray with you. Just simply say, I need prayer. And a member of our team will reach out to you and they will be praying for you. I want to thank so many of you who have decided to partner consistently and that have been sowing consistently. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me say this again to those that have been partners. Thank you. And I pray that on this day, that God would double and triple everything that you have sown and given. I pray that today be the day that every gift will come back to you multiplied, pressed down and shaken together. Maybe you would like to give. There is a link in my profile, but I'll also put a link at the top of this, and I would welcome you to sow. Either way, guys, thank you. I hope that this message has sparked something in you. It's the small things. Thank you for joining tonight. Have a great night.